We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which this project is created, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We'd also like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging.
Settle down and gather round for another tale. In the world of Nua, where time has carved and cultivated a magical utopia of wonder, a small group of adventurers unlock the deep mysteries of the land, its people, and themselves. Welcome to the Down Under Dungeon podcast.
Seventh day of second fall. Dear Holly, if you had asked me a few months ago, I probably wouldn't have said you would make a good captain, but the Helagast wouldn't be floating without you. It's hard for me to admit that sometimes. Maybe you can help me convince Lysandra that she's not a monster and that her past doesn't define her. I know that's not really your style, but I think she needs to hear it from someone that isn't me. I start to see her grow tired of having to explain and re-explain herself all the time. You told us to enjoy Frosty, so that's what we did. Denis' victory in the cooking competition gave Lysandra and I a moment to talk before the children of Nua continued their seemingly favourite activity of kicking me because I'm tall. I chased them and ended up hearing their pleas to understand and learn fire. It has importance, even somewhere so cold. After that, they all ran off screaming about being the frigid flames. I wonder how the flames of the wildfire circle would react to their names being co-opted by children. While I was gone, Lysandra had her sword taken by the city and lost her connection to her dad. How did one of my magic beans make a sword that allowed that? I wonder if it's the type of magic. I wonder whose beans they were. It must have had something to do with that weave that we keep hearing about. Settling down in the hallowed hearth, we decided to have even more fun. Lysandra vomited, again, after beating someone called Rockgroin in a drinking competition, and then I beat 5 unsuspecting suckers at Liar's Dice. But then, that's kinda when things changed. See, Denis found some kind of illusory wall where all sorts of folk were disappearing, and so we followed. We haven't gotten into trouble yet, but when you think about it, fun is really, really close to trouble. Regardless, I'll cover my tracks with a preemptive, sorry, your first mate, Feng.
A pretty eventful episode last week, gang.
Yeah.
Definitely immersed ourselves in some Rhinebeard culture. Getting into trouble.
Getting very drunk.
Yeah, Lysandra's developing a bit of a problem.
Getting burnt. Lysandra's developing a problem. Feng is the one that enjoys betting too much.
That's true.
Gambling.
You guys spent weeks with pirates. Like, I don't know why you were so surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I'm pretty sure you mentioned last week that there was like drugs in the hall or something.
Yes.
Yeah, as Daniel, I wanted to run over to that right away.
I was considering it. I was considering going over, but I didn't.
So, you all made your way into the hallowed hearth of Frosty. But that is not where we will find our party. You are indeed deep beneath the hallowed hearth of Frosty. Surrounded by the frozen, compacted earth, and before the fighting pits of Vetra Netra, that is where we find the Wellspringers. The crowds of Rhinebeard dandies packing the raised stands roar as the grizzled Beastmaster begins to select the first 2 combatants of the night. A huge, pale blue constrictor is raised into the pit alongside a monstrously hairy white wolf spider. Its fangs click menacingly together and its 20 or so eyes fixate on the coiling constrictor. Jeers and bets fly through the air as the Beastmaster's assistants move through the crowd, collecting silver and gold from the gentrified dwarves. What do the Wellspringers do?
Wait, so they're fighting animals?
The animals are fighting each other, and the dwarves are watching.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Holy shit, I didn't realize that's what it was.
How's Feng feeling?
Not good.
We established last week that this is a holy time of year for the dwarves, and they can't shed blood, so they are just, coming up with a workaround.
Right. I guess we'll turn to the rest of the Wellspringers and try to whisper and say, are we going to buy into this? Are we really going to bet on animal fighting? This doesn't feel right.
Lysandra's already pulling out her bag as well. She's recently won from the drinking competition.
Yeah, sweet. Lysandra, who are you betting on this time?
Lysandra likes how intimidating the wolf spider is. She's going to bet 20 gold on it.
Go for it. Yeah, you pull Lysandra back as she just like starts waving some gold in the air, and one of the assistants takes it. Feng sends her a withering look.
Sorry, it's a wolf spider and a
Giant snake constrictor.
A giant constrictor snake. And do we know odds?
Let's get into the real market.
This is the first.
Come on, what are we playing?
This is the constrictor is favorited 2-1 to win this.
Sweet. Denny is also gonna put 50 gold on the wolf spider.
I think Louis looks at Feng as these two start putting in their bets, and it's just like, I mean, it's a cultural time of year. We probably can't interrupt anything without it getting incredibly rowdy. Plus, he's a beastmaster, so potentially, if we go by the customs, we can get him to help Patrick out if we need it.
No, that's so true. Would anyone be... And I'm whispering this, I want to make sure that no one else is hearing this. Would anyone be opposed if I sent Promi to see how many animals they had down there?
I mean, if you're willing to risk sending an incredibly rare creature down into the bowels of a creature fighting ring, I wouldn't mind more information.
Okay. Denny, Lysandra?
I'll bet on Promi if you want.
Yeah, Denny makes a great point. If Promi goes in there, we'll bet on him.
Okay, Feng starts ignoring Denny and Lysandra and is like, you know what, Louis, you're so right. And so Feng, I mean, I know that you said that there's a lot of people down here, and I would like to try and get up to a couple shenanigans, DM, if you let me. So, I'm going to link a couple things together here. You said that Promi, once I had trained him with that animal husbandry book, Promi can move through objects and walls.
Correct.
As a druid, I have the spell Beast Bond, where I create a telepathic bond and I can see through their eyes and hear what they're hearing. I will be honest that the wording of the spell says that a creature with intelligence 4 or above is unaffected by the spell, and Promi's intelligence is a 13 because he's just a genius.
Very smart chicken.
But due to Promi being linked to my soul as a wildfire druid, will you let that spell work? So that I can try and get Promi to go through the floor of this dome and see how many animals are underneath.
I will allow it with a wisdom check.
DC?
15.
That's a 19.
You see Feng's eyes cloud over and are replaced with a fiery visage as Promi begins like pecking at the floor and then almost alarmingly looks around as he starts to sink through the ground.
Do I need to make a stealth check or anything?
I would say that this is a very crowded place. No one's watching the crowd, they're watching the animals getting ready to fight.
Awesome.
As you send Promi down into the passage and your beast bond connects, your worst fears are realised. There are rows and rows of cells down here, each containing a different beast of the Tundra Isles. Lots of them are scarred, some are missing eyes, or digits, or scales. As Promi appears and casts his light, you see several skitter away from it. It seems these animals have been down here a long time, and perhaps are not just brought down here for the festival.
Does Promi, or do I through Promi's eyes, see like an exit or a way out of this underground place?
You do. The 2 trapdoors back up into the arena.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. I want Promi to almost like start teleporting these animals out of their cages, and but not to come up through where we are. I almost want them to try and find a different way out, or is that not possible?
I'm gonna say Promi is. I don't think you have the resources to pull this off by teleporting them all in a time where no one's going to realise you. I'm going to say Promi has given you this information. I don't think he's able to do much more else. If you want to get down here, you're going to have to find your own way down here to release these beasts.
Okay, I'm just going to relay that information to the rest of the Wellspringers while they're placing their bets. And
Lysandra and Denny could not care less. Yeah, Denny and Lysandra are so engrossed. They've like... Even Denny started to pick up some like dwarvish phrases and he's he has no idea what they mean, and some like giving Denny side-eye looks. They are getting really into it, Feng, and you feel your temperature rising inside of you again as this violation against the natural order of nature, and again you start to feel this bubbling rage inside of you.
Concerning.
Feng's actually a barbarian.
Yeah.
You see the Beastmaster steps from the ring, and the two animals begin to fight. I will roll initiative for them. You see, coiled and ready to go, as soon as the Beastmaster leaves the space, the Constrictor lashes out at the spider and latches onto one of its legs, and you hear the crowd go nuts. Or you can't believe that no one above you can hear the ruckus down here.
While this is happening, can Feng turn to Louis and say, Louis, they have too many animals down there. Would you hate me if I went to free them?
She, takes a second, just kind of laughs and thinks about the death wish of a trip that they're on. Is like, you know what? Go have fun.
Thanks for your blessing. And
she's also, at that point, going to give him a bardic inspiration.
probably needed.
Yeah.
Feng, I guess, in this moment will use his second wild shape, which means Promi comes right back to the lamp, and Feng is going to wild shape into a badger. So I guess his skin almost starts to sizzle as he has this fire creep across his skin and his hair, and he starts to shrink down to become this small orangey red badger, which has a burrowing speed of 5 feet.
Oh my god, you're adorable.
I can't talk of an animal for fuck's sake. So Feng's just going to start trying to sneakily burrow under, hoping no one sees him.
Give me just a stealth check, Feng, as you begin to burrow down.
Okay.
And is anyone covering the tracks of the badger?
Can I help with that?
You're wonderful. Yes, you definitely can help.
Excellent.
Is that the advantage?
Yes.
I'm going to use Louis' Bardic. Thank you very much.
Alright.
That's an 8 on the dice. Fuck yes. So that becomes a dirty 20.
Wonderful, yeah. You see Feng starts to burrow down, and Denny just kind of sidles off and just kicks the dirt back into the hole and starts stamping it down. A few rounds go past. You see the Constrictor misses again, and the spider chitters around and starts crawling up the side of the arena and starts shooting webs at the snake.
Go, you good thing.
Come on!
The spider's webs miss, and the snake slithers around. And after a few more rounds, Feng, you appear with a thud at the bottom of this beast pit. And you, as your keen perceptions as a badger, hear all of the sounds of these beasts around you.
Feng is going to use his Furbolg ability of speech of beast and leaf, which gives me advantage on charisma-based checks to persuade animals or plants. So Feng is going to try to start, intimidating these animals, to start riling them up so that they're bashing against their cages and stuff and starting to break them out.
And what do you say to these creatures, Feng?
I guess I'm not concentrating on anything, so I'll also cast Speak with Animals at this moment so that they can all definitely understand me and I can understand them. And Feng is just going to say, "No longer shall you be kept in your captivity. You must break out, my brothers and sisters. Get out now, because you deserve a free life."
You see, Feng, these animals start going berserk and crazy. Some start to, just by sheer force, burst from their cages, while you help others using your Furbolg strength to just rip these old, rusted padlocks off. For everyone else above, you start to feel the ground shake. And I am going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh no!
Oops.
You see the boa constrictor and the spider move to either side of the arena as a deluge of animals claw their way through the trapdoors and up into the crowd of dwarves.
I have a question before we roll. Given Lysandra has disadvantage on dexterity, does that also include initiative?
What do you think?
Definitely, that's why I'm checking.
Let's do it. Holy shit, Feng got a nat 20.
That is so good, Feng, because you are down below.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, see,
Okay. Did anyone roll below a 15?
Yes, Louis did got an 11.
Lysandra definitely did with disadvantage. It would have been a nat 20, but because she's drunk, it's a 6.
And Denis got an 18.
Wonderful. Denny, you just have an intuition when things are about to go horribly wrong, but you see Feng riding this enormous Arctic wolf as they come bursting forward. All of these creatures come out. For anyone who didn't roll high enough on initiative, you are caught in the initial kind of kerfuffle and stampede, and you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Full Jumanji style. It's a stampede.
Stampede!
Okay, this is how this combat is going to work. For this encounter, you will need to make a check each round to avoid the obstacles unscathed. If you have a spell, action, or ability that could mitigate the check, you may not need to roll, or you can roll with advantage. As Feng opens the cages in the subterranean holding cells beneath the pit, the array of dangerous animals spill out. Not being egged on or compelled by the Beastmaster, but by their liberator, they begin to panic, desperate to find a means of escape. For round 1, the fighting pit. Screams and howls erupt from the crowd as the beasts take to their freedom. Dwarves jostle and push, flinging their peers down the steps and to the side in an attempt to escape. An enormous tundra elk begins bucking and kicking wildly in the fray, knocking out dwarven teeth with reckless abandon. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw to try and get to the exit of the arena as quickly as possible without getting crushed by the surging crowd of dwarves. Who failed?
The Ember!
What the fuck? Because I have to roll with disadvantage. I rolled another nat 20, but then disadvantage is a 7.
Okay, I just need to know who fails and who passes.
What's the DC?
DC 15.
Thing fails.
Louis fails.
Sandra fails.
You all take 16 points of bludgeoning damage. I rolled really high on the dice. As you all start to as you push your way through this sea of dwarves, Feng, you kind of launch off the back of your wolf to give you that extra space, but because you are so large and these dwarves are so strong, you are jostled, but you are all able to make it back into the small hallway. Zooming through this narrow place, you start to hear a great grinding sound, and the ceiling above you collapses. The cause of the cave-in is revealed to be a giant badger, at least 26 times the size of Feng's right shape. Except this badger has grey-black fur and very bad eyesight, and it has squashed the Wellspringers beneath it, scratching its ears nonchalantly. You all need to make a DC 12 strength saving throw to pull yourself from the rubble.
Yeah, this is going to go well for the old woman in the corner.
Who passed?
Denis passes.
Lysandra passes.
Thing passes.
Louis does not.
Louis, can you roll again? And just let me know, pass or fail, and keep rolling until you pass.
Okay. The second one is a 17 plus 1 for an 18.
With the help of your companions, they are able to pull you out from underneath the badger. Badger is not violent or anything, it's just stubborn and doesn't want to move. You take 4 points of suffocation damage as you after you get Louis out and you enter the antechamber, you see the Beastmaster standing down an enormous scarred wild boar. The beast screams and snorts in rage as it begins to turn on its former master. The dwarf turns to you and says, "Help! Help! Don't just stand there and do nothing!"
Feng immediately runs up using his speech of beast and leaf again. He's gonna beat on his chest and start roaring at this animal to try and intimidate it away from the Beastmaster.
You told this beast to be free from its chains, and now you're telling it not to attack its former master. So I will say, you make the intimidation check, but you will also have to make an animal handling check. So if you roll high enough on your intimidation check, the DC will be lower on your animal handling check.
Okay, I've got advantage on the intimidation check, which becomes a 14.
Okay, I now need an animal handling check, DC 18, to calm down this boar.
That's a nat 20.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
I own these animals now.
Feng the fire was
I would say Feng doesn't necessarily compel this animal to do anything different, but you understand the behavior of these creatures so much that you are able to stand in the way of the boar and the Beastmaster, and at the last moment pull the Beastmaster away from its tusks. With your Furbolg ability for carrying capacity, I will allow you to just swing this Beastmaster over your shoulder and continue if you would like.
Yeah, for sure. He wasn't necessarily trying to calm or change this beast's mind or anything. He just didn't want the Beastmaster to get cleaned up because the party planned on asking them for help, so he's just trying to make sure that's still possible. And yeah, he absolutely scoops the Beastmaster up and starts running with the Wellspringers.
You have a beat here in the antechamber. You start to hear the dwarves spilling past the badger. You have a moment here to cast anything you would like, or buff yourselves as you make your way up the staircase, but the Stampede is coming.
Louis is going to cast Cure Wounds on herself, as she currently has 6 hit points. So, I'm gonna get 10 hit points back.
Nice.
Which is not too bad. That's enough to keep me up.
Lysandra's going to use Second Wind to regain some hit points because she is on 9. Which is an extra 6 hit points.
Can Denis make a check to see if the bookie is in the sort of stampede of people?
You can, Denny. Someone wants their money back.
All their money. That's a 2 on the die. What am I adding? What is 9, I guess?
No.
Yeah. Oh well. Then Denis is going to pull out a little vial of Kraken soup and give it to Louis to use the Fey gift hospitality. Yeah, so he's going to give the help action to Louis and restore both of us 6 temporary hit points.
Wonderful.
You're a gem.
No worries. Now let's go.
Dashing up the staircase, the sounds of dwarves screaming both in front and behind you, your lungs begin to burn with exhaustion. Then you hear harrowing chittering and the pattering of long legs as the enormous wolf spider from the pit, 2 legs missing, hisses its displeasure as it passes you. It douses you in silvery gossamer webs. I need everyone to make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw to break through the spider's silk. Who failed?
Feng failed.
Denis failed.
Louis failed.
Can you all 3 of you roll again? Who failed?
Louis failed.
What's the DC, sorry?
16.
Denis failed.
Feng is right. The 2 of you, please, roll again.
Oh my gosh.
Denis failed.
Louis is going to use a luck point because this is stupid at this point. That was an 8. Even with that, it's an 11.
Roll again.
Oh my god.
Denis passed.
Wonderful.
Louis is going to use another luck point.
Okay, Denny, as you pass, you take 17 points of bludgeoning damage as you are trampled by dwarves coming up behind you as you are restrained by the spider's silk.
Thank God. That's a 19 for a dirty 20.
Okay. Louis, you take 18 points of bludgeoning damage, but you are able to break free eventually.
Oh, thank God for that temporary hit points.
Feng, Lysandra, you double back and grab your counterparts of the Wellspringers, dragging them up to the staircase between this deluge of dwarves, the final round of the staircase.
Feng will immediately cast a 2nd level Cure Wounds on Louis,
Thank you.
and that will heal you for 17 points.
Thank you.
Coiled upon a beam above the entrance to the fighting pit, above the illusion that you just dispelled before, its head poised to strike, you see the pale blue constrictor from before. Several scales are missing, and you see a few puncture marks from a scrap with the wolf spider. It looks mad. As you try and pass the snake, make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw to avoid a strike from the constrictor.
What the fuck?
Oh my god!
Jesus
Louis, I
Christ.
heard that if you play the flute, you might come down.
Try and charm him? Sure.
Feng somehow got a 17.
Wonderful.
Lysandra got a 6.
Okay.
Louis got an 8.
Okay.
Denis got a nat 20.
Yeah, oh my god.
With the nat 20, can Denny pull one of the girls out of the way?
Plus a 6 for dexterity save. 26.
I will allow you to take half of their damage to get them out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
They might not hit. So, first of all, that's why the DC is so high, because it still has to, the snake still has to strike out and hit you.
Yeah.
So it's going to make a hit at Lysandra. Who are you going to save? Sorry, Denny. You can only pick one.
Do I have any idea about, like, hit points or anything? No?
I mean,
No, Louis.
Okay. That is a miss on Lysandra. It dinks off of her sand elven armor. 19 hit, Louis.
Absolutely. That's
You see this snake latches onto Louis, and Denny literally tears her away from the snake. But Denny, you also get some of this poison, this acidic poison, onto you. You each take 4 points of piercing damage, and I need a DC 10 Constitution saving throw from Louis.
Okay. That's an 18.
That passes. You are not poisoned.
Thank God.
As you spill out from the concealed doorway, most of the animals that passed you on the way have begun to cause havoc in the mead hall. The wolf spider has begun spinning an enormous web in the corner. You see Pud is spread eagled over the middle of it. The Rhinebeards are laughing and tossing tankards and crusts of bread and Pud in the spider web. The elk and the boar burst from behind you, harrying the Rhinebeards in their way, bucking and kicking and goring their way to the exit and out into the night. I need a perception check with disadvantage as you're all sprawled on the ground coming out from this encounter.
All of us with disadvantage.
Correct.
Feng got a 6.
Lysandra got a 9.
Louis got a 14.
Denny got an 18.
Chaos has consumed this space, with some using the opportunity to have out their personal differences. More brawling than usual can be seen, and the servers are all huddled at the back of the hall, wide-eyed and in disbelief. Suddenly, over the din, a loud shout can be heard from the second floor. As if a spell had been cast, the dwarves freeze in place, looking up at their accoster. Wearing nothing but linen pants, you see a young, lithe dwarf with bright blue eyes, jet black braids, and an intricately decorated beard that falls to his navel upon a chiseled stomach.
Smash.
Given his lack of clothing and the amount of respect he commands so quickly, you deduce with your passive insight that this must be the young King Bonebreaker of the Tundra Isles. Wiping sweat from his brow hurriedly, the king speaks out over the hall. "What is the meaning of this? Who is responsible for this? Speak now, or when I find out I will have you pegged on the sea ice to freeze." Several of the Rhinebeards who managed to escape the stampede begin to point stout fingers at the Wellspringers, who all realise how much they stick out in a sea of dwarves.
So they're blaming us because we're not dwarves?
I'm pretty sure it was walk going.
Yeah, can the Wellspringers try to play it off and start looking around at all of the dwarves around them?
It was walk going, I think.
Yeah, Feng also joins in and starts looking around at all the dwarves. That's so dangerous for animals to be doing that. Who would mistreat them like that?
Give me... Am I a bad DM for making you roll this with disadvantage?
No.
Okay, good.
You're a bad DM for other reasons.
Okay, good. I can live with that.
Louis is going to put her hand on your shoulder and give you a bardic inspiration for this.
I'm going to use that bardic. Another 8 on the bardic. Holy shit.
Nice.
So that deception becomes a 21
A 21.
with disadvantage.
Oh, it's so nice.
Your conviction, Feng, gives pause to the king and his temper subsides slightly. As the Rhinebeard king strokes his mustache in contemplation, another figure slinks from the room behind him, wraps delicate arms around his neck, kisses a hairy cheek, and breathes a cooing voice in his ear. "Floki, darling, leave this rabble. You belong to me tonight, remember?" From behind Floki Bonebreaker, king of the Tundra Isles and Jarl of Caer Frostia, hair unkempt and lipstick smudge, your captain, Holly.
Good girl.
She shoots you all a withering look, one of pure spite, and shakes her head slightly. "It's just a bit of fun, darling. Some outsiders drinking too much. Escort them from the hall and be done with it. No need to sour our mood. Especially for you, this close to Vetranetra." And now Holly's going to make a persuasion check. The king wavers for a second, savouring Holly's touch. "Fine. Thralls, escort these troublemakers from the hall. If they resist, stake them to the ice." Floki turns, takes Holly's hand, and returns to his private solar. From either side of the king, his royal guards appear with huge pikes of black wrought iron. They begin to make their way down to the Wellspringers to apprehend them. What do you do?
Denny's just gonna go, alright, we're leaving. Hey, settle down, man, we're leaving, okay?
You don't need to escort us. We'll go.
I don't resist, we just go.
You all hurriedly try and leave the hallowed hall. Feng boosts Denny up on his shoulders to try and fish wood out of the spiderweb.
I even use my once-a-day disguise self, where I can make myself 3 feet taller, and just to give Denny that extra boost.
Thank you very much. And can I scold the people making fun of him?
You can scold them if you would like.
How dare you talk to my son like this? Did your mothers not raise you right? That you have no respect for the beauty of creation and the beauty of cookery? You filthy, filthy boys.
You filthy, filthy boys. Got him.
Got him.
You all spill out into the night. The fresh, crisp air is a relief in your lungs. You have been banished from the mead hall, but luckily have not ended up in the stocks, thanks to the quick thinking of your captain.
We now owe her. We realize that, right?
We owe her a lot.
I don't know, it seems like she's getting something from this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like she's pretty lucky. Did you say how hot he was?
He was fine as fuck.
We do also have to think about the fact that that's probably the price that we're paying for our ship to get fixed. She's putting a lot up for this.
She's not whoring herself out to the king. I just want that to be very clear.
Yeah, she's too much of a feminine non.
That's just whoring herself out. She above the table, she obviously has history with this guy beforehand.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes. So let's retcon the
History check on their dating.
Yeah, you can do an insight check if you like on what the fuck did we just see.
Genuinely, Louis is concerned about the fact that Holly might be how we're paying for this ship, for the ship repairs exactly. So she wants to make an insight check on just Holly's behavior to see if this is a willing thing that she's doing. That is a natural 20 plus 7, so a 27.
Oof.
Nice.
From all the conversations that Holly has had, especially in regards to her legacy, Holly is someone who is very similar in terms of what Feng and Lysandra evinced, that she is a product of the world around her and the constructs around her, and she is now fully free of that. So it would be very surprising for Holly to all of a sudden buy back into this transactional nature where she is put on the bottom. And if anything, it seems that Holly is getting more out of this than the king of the Tundra Isles.
I don't know, it seems like she likes being on the bottom.
Fair enough, good on her.
Damn, she's good.
Get that dick, darling.
It is still it's very dark and very late at night now, and with Lysandra's condition deteriorating quickly, you make your way back to the Halligast. You see that no one is on the ship except for Grick, who was the designated ship sitter, and you see ship sitter. Wow, that would be very...
I'm not a ship sitter, I'm a ship sitter's son.
Or a ship sipper. You see Grick is tied up in a hammock that he's strung up on the deck, and he's got about 16 layers on, and all you can see is his nose coming out of it and the frosted breath. And you see standing next to him on the ship is a large steaming pile of mantelope droppings that Grick has cleaned up from you at the bottom. You still have the Beastmaster, mind you.
I forgot.
Shit.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I just turned to the Beastmaster. I'll be like, oh, I forgot you were there.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. I've never really had that happen to me before, you know. I've made a lot of money off those animals. Like, who knew they hated me so much?
Well, I mean, I nearly stuck my foot in it. I nearly was about to say if you had them in cages, that's what they're going to do. That thing doesn't know that. Because we didn't do anything.
Lysandra pipes up. So if you make a lot of money from them, surely we can have our money back, right? Given they didn't win and it was kind of disrupted, you know?
He looks at you dead in the eyes, Lysandra, and says, prove it.
Can I cast my mage hand?
Go for it.
Yeah, Denny is going to cast his invisible mage hand and is going to rifle through his pockets.
Go for it,
See
Denny.
how much money he has got.
Can Lysandra keep talking to him to, distract him?
Go for it.
Good job.
You can retrieve an object in a container worn or carried by another creature, assuming that the pocket counts as a container, and can perform one of these tasks without being noticed by a creature if you succeed on a dexterity sleight of hand check contested by the creature's wisdom check.
That is a 16 you have to beat.
Okay.
Come on.
I get an 18.
Yes.
9 plus 9, baby.
I'm going to say with Lysandra distracting him, and also he's doing this thing where he's keeping his attention on Lysandra because she's the drunkest person in the...
She is like so in his face and is making a fool out of herself, but is just fully committed at this point.
You lift his coin purse off of his person, which contains 300 gold
Oh,
and
shit.
20 platinum pieces.
Oh god,
Yeah,
I'm just
Jenny.
robbing this city blind.
It's not even the thing I wanted to steal today.
We're flying to our death, guys. We may as well enjoy
We
it.
may as well.
Sorry, Denny, maybe now you don't have to steal it.
Yeah, but is the thing for sale?
Everything's for sale at a price.
Oh. And 20 platinum, you said? Sweet. All right.
You see the Beastmaster gestures to the large pile of mantelope dung next to Grick and says, "Whoa, where did that come from? I mean, what did that come from?"
Feng will just be like, those are my 2 pet mantelope shits. Cecilia and Patrick, they do pretty big shit, so sorry about that. We'll try clean it up a bit next time.
You see he scratches his beard and says, "Mantelopes this far north? And they haven't frozen to death?"
Yeah, I take pretty good care of them. I'm a wildfire druid, so I use my own fire to keep them warm. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, one of them's kind of injured. Would you want to take a look by any chance? I did save you from that boar.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Ooh. That's a 15.
You see the Beastmaster says, "Well, I mean, it's a few hours till dawn. I'll go have a look." And he heads down to have a look at Patrick's broken wing.
As he heads off, Louis just casts prestidigitation on the shit to clean it up.
You see maybe an eighth of the shit disappears.
It's a cantrip. I keep casting it until gone.
Yeah, speaking of shit, Lysandra's still covered in her own vomit.
We cast prestidigitation on Lysandra as well. Gets you clean.
Can I request that you don't clean up all of the shit?
What are you gonna do with it?
Nothing.
Oh no.
If you serve me Mantelope shit stew, I'm gonna have words to say about it.
Okay, it won't be a soup.
Oh no.
You see Feng takes the Beastmaster down below deck and after a couple of hours re-emerges. Thanks to the Beastmaster for his help. Oh, he rolled a 19 on the dice for his medicine check. So he uses strips of tundra pine to create almost like a sling for Patrick to keep his wing immobilized while it heals. The Beastmaster reckons that after about a week, you should be right to take the splint off.
Thank you so much.
And hey, if any of these little things divide, I'll pay you so much money for them, or however they reproduce.
Mina, you gonna make them fight like the other ones?
He points to his missing eye, missing fingers, dead polar bear on his back.
Feng is just gonna be like, okay, thanks for fixing my mantelope, but I don't really want them to fight. Goodbye. And then just starts to shoo him off the ship.
Before he's shoot off the ship, can Denis approach the Beastmaster and ask, "Excuse me, monsieur, what do these creatures prefer to eat?"
You would know that mantelopes are herbivores, but they also need supplements in their diets when they're not getting, their full natural range of what they would normally eat. So yes, salts and things like that might be able to supplement them on their journey and keep them healthy.
Alright, awesome.
The rest of the morning goes, but this is early morning, mind you. Some of the rest of the crews loiters back in differing groups, only one or two at a time. Most of them drunk, a lot of them with empty pockets and empty... and so, for the next day, the sun doesn't actually pass the horizon. It just gets a little bit lighter in the morning. You have a day left in Caer Frostia before Holly wants you back on the Halligast. So I don't think there's going to be many big party expeditions on this day, but anything you want to run, individual errands, go and see things, now is your final chance to do that, clarify things, because you don't know when you might see civilization again. What do the Wellspringers do? Let's start with Lysandra.
With a horrible hangover.
Yeah, Lysandra, as you wake up, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Come on. 15.
You touch your hand to your temple and you just feel that like racking sense, like your brain is like the animals last night is pounding to escape your skull. Alcohol, you do not have much of a tolerance for.
Yep.
And now you're starting to think maybe tieflings have like a weird aversion to alcohol. And then you wonder why you feel so bad, and then you touch your scabbard and realise that it's empty still.
Yeah, Lysandra sort of comes to that realization that she doesn't have her sword on her, and that sense of, like, emptiness and, like, sickness, and she's going to go and try and find her sword. That's all she's got on her mind.
Feng, what are you doing?
Feng's really kind of only thing that he's focused on right now, I guess, is the fact that he knows Prome's lamp was created in Frosty. So I know that this is our last chance to like buy any materials and things that we need for the journey. Look, I don't really know if Feng needs much. He wouldn't be opposed to like some better armor or something, but he is much more focused on seeing if he can find the maker of Prome's lamp.
Louis.
Louis wants to, number one, get some better armor so that she can go into whatever the East may have with a little bit more protection. And then also this far out wants to see, because a lot of, back in Feldspar, no one had been this far east, but being closer to this, wants to see if she can maybe find anybody who has already gone east or may know anything about the more easterly Shadowfell regions.
Denny is going to go back to Ivan because there was a magic item there that he didn't get. And Denny wanty.
So let's roll initiative.
Yeah, roll initiative to see who gets out of bed first in the morning. Spoiler alert, it's not Lysandra.
You're rolling that with disadvantage then?
Just, you'll be last.
Wow, okay.
Oh my god!
And she rolls in that one. I mean...
Oh god!
God damn, the dice really do tell the story.
It's just a one.
You can't make this up.
I love this.
Is that 3 nat 1 this episode or
I
something?
think it might be, but to be fair, I rolled multiple nat 20s. Just
Fuck, you're impressive.
disadvantage. I am impressive, thank you.
Louis, as always, old people only need like 3 hours to sleep.
I am up obnoxiously early watching this, well, I was going to say watching the horizon slightly lighten, as it doesn't get lighter. But yeah, slept for about 2.5 hours and is raring to go.
I think with what you wanted to get done, I feel like you're just combing the docks, yeah? Because you're like, sailors, let's go. Give me an investigation check, please.
Sure thing.
I know you're not good at it, but you're a bard, so you're good at everything.
I was going to say, I'm not awful at it. That is a 15.
15. You see that there are some ice fishermen this early in the morning, very bleak, just sitting on the ice over this like tiny hole. You see that there are some sailors that are like bashing the ice out of their sails. You see the crews finishing up their work on the Helligast. You start to see the visage of Cecilia at the front with her wings outstretched in a forward motion. So it's almost like a fork attack if it was gonna like ram someone.
Bless.
What are you specifically asking? Like, are you saying Shadowfell? Are you saying the Umbra Isles? Are you saying that kind of stuff?
Can we just substantiate some lore? Like, would someone saying...
I don't think it's taboo to talk about Shadowfell, yeah?
But in terms of Holly said we are not to mention it at all.
mission at all.
So,
The mission isn't going to the Shadowfell, it's the mission
Is going to the
moon. So as long as we're not saying we're looking for a way to go to the moon,
Yep.
we can still talk about going to the Shadowfell because that's
Okay.
our mission, not
Okay.
Holly's.
Okay.
that makes sense.
Like, you're a bard, you can like talk, you start to like
I'm just talking shop with the sailors.
talking shop with the sailors.
Specifically, I think the sail makers, because that's kind of like what, or like the sail keepers, like, because that's what I've been doing. So I'm talking about like repair techniques. I'm getting information from them while just like slipping in bits of that into the kind of
You
conversation.
definitely go to some of the long boat houses where some of these old dwarven maids are actually repairing sails on the ships for the spring to come, and they also sport gorgeously kept beards and mustaches, and they even sometimes will pluck hairs from their own beards to help in their sewing. And they start telling you fishwives' tales and fairy tales and some of the other things. For a very combative and very practical people, the dwarves are also very superstitious. And they seem to believe that their superstition and caution is kind of what keeps them alive out here. And so anything to do with like death or danger is really pushed in the culture in this shadowy, constant threat. For a lot of them, the mention of the Shadowfell or the Umbra Isles, not many people know a lot about it, but it is talked in the same kind of vernacular and ways that they would describe, tales of ghost ships arriving on the shores and stealing away sailors who don't come in before the autumn storms and things like that. They mention, funnily enough, stories of mermaids far to the east. They talk about the fact that they only really trade with Nua as a necessity, and if they could, they would just stay here and not travel. So they're not really a seafaring people, they're more like a fishing people, if that makes sense. So a lot of this is hearsay, but it is very clear to you that where you are going, it is anyone's guess what you are going to find there. And for someone like you, Louis, I think that's comforting in a sense, because there is no solid proof that this is just as bad as it is, and everything seems to be hearsay and secondhand, which definitely gives you some comfort. And as you reappear from the boathouse, you see Holly. Makeup reapplied, hair flawless, carting on her back a large sack of supplies. She gives you a small nod as she walks up onto the dock and says, "Louis, you had one job, and that was babysitter."
Listen, I know I tried, and keeping 3 people on a leash is harder than you'd expect, considering they are free-spirited and don't always want to follow my intentions.
You see she looks at you and says this very clearly and says, "It's all fun and games here, right? I still have control, or some control here. But after today, I don't. I don't have any more strings to pull after today. I don't have any secrets that are going to keep me or you safe or pull you out. And while it might be hard for you to control 3, I have to control 15.
I understand, it's a massive weight on your shoulders.
Yes, he was rather hefty, but...
Big pussy slave.
Louis chuckles at her slightly crude joke and just says, "I'm glad you're getting at least something out of this little bit of levity as well. Give yourself that." I don't know, I wanted to kind of have a moment with you amongst the ruckus of everything to sort of discuss the last few months of us knowing each other and what kind of we've been all up to. I know that I was incredibly thrown by Q appearing in the crystal on the ship, and I know you had a fondness for him, so I kind of wanted to do a little check-in, see how you were about that, or I'm not going to make any judgments on whether your interest in him was purely practical or if it was something else, but if you needed a person to have a chat to at any point in time, let anything out, I'm a shoulder to cry on or talk upon. I don't know what the idiom would be.
You see Holly looks at you for a second and says, "Louis, I think you are an excellent liar. You check in with others and always making sure that they're okay and moving us forward. And look, that is a strength. That is why I enabled you on my ship. But I sense something in you, and it is because I think we are more similar than you would like to admit. I don't buy this dottering grandma candy dispensing act you've got going on. I think you are a very powerful bard, and I think that you shy away from your part in all of this. I think you think that this is a secondary role, or you are just a gatekeeper here, but I think you know more about what's going on about all of this than I do. What do you know?"
Louis kind of takes a second, smiles a little, chuckles to herself, pulls a hard candy out of the pouch of her pocket and offers it to you.
She's staring directly at you now. You see the mood has changed in the conversation quickly. It's not that she's being rude to you, but she sensed something in you, and now she's like, "Oh, I'm onto something now, and this is what I want."
Louis absolutely clocked that and just kind of chuckles as she unwraps the candy, pops it in her own mouth. And she says, if I tell you what I know, tell me what you know about the moons.
Fine. That seems fair enough.
Good business relationship this we can work with. As far as I'm aware, pardon my language, death is fucked. Whatever is the in-between or the beyond of this realm and others is a big mixing pot of nothingness. Whatever it is, I've seen beyond it, I've been within it, I've pulled myself back from the brink, and I'm trying to work out what the fuck it is, to be honest. And I am sick of side missions and things being thrown around and people making light of exactly what we're doing here, because within all the small moments of camaraderie and bits and pieces that we put together, whatever we're all doing is the fate of the world. And we all know that we're playing with the big guns now. So whatever is in between is all over the place, and I'm trying to work out why.
You see Holly's brow furrows, and she picks her words very carefully, Louis, and says, "You brought yourself back."
I don't have to elaborate on anything here, Steve.
You see Holly raises an eyebrow and says, "I'm not marveling at the how, Louis. I'm marveling at the fact that you're even here. So whether you did it or not is irrelevant. The fact is you did it. Any person, any being with that capacity to draw themselves back from the brink, with all of the magical laws that exist in this world, you were probably the most dangerous and powerful thing on board this ship, you do realize."
You said it, not me. There's a reason I hide behind the daughtery grandma. It's easier to be caring for others rather than showing prowess, and it's easier to get things done as a little old grandma.
And what happens if I take my knife and slit this little grandma's throat? Have you considered that? That's not a threat. That's a curiosity.
I've been down and out before. I doubt it'd stop me.
Interesting. To be clear, I don't know what is on the moons. I have conjecture, so did the Apani. They worshipped different celestial bodies than the ones that exist today. That was a revelation, and also what has now piqued my interest, because the Apani were all-knowing, and if they did not know, then no one knows. And I'm going to be the one who knows for once.
There's a lot of power in that. Being a discoverer, an inventor.
All that pales in compared to a creator. I am simply a servant of reality, trying to understand it. But you, Louis, you created it. You sustain it. And so while you may have some trepidations towards me, do you ever realize that perhaps my coldness and standoffishness comes from the fact that I am probably more terrified than you than anything I have met in my travels so far? I think you owe yourself to truly understand what you are and what you are capable of, because if you don't, and if we fool around and something goes wrong, and when you're trying to pull on their leashes and they do not come, what happens then? What happens when the great creator is defied?
Honey, I know how fate is woven. I know how people's threads move. I know what makes people tick.
And that, my dear Louis, is what terrifies me. And we will cross over. Feng, you wake up below the ship. You see Cecilia and Patrick are coiled up in the corner with the familiar smell of mantelope. What do you do?
Feng will quickly say good morning to them. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Patrick. How are you feeling today?
Cecilia sucks on your hand.
Feng runs on the spot to get himself a bit sweaty to make sure that she's got some salt. Because I know that that's what she enjoys.
So wait, is like...
that is... Sorry. You're all laughing, but that is 100% true.
No, it's very true, but what I'm trying to say is like Cecilia's pregnancy cravings Feng's hand and Feng's sweat.
It's the salt in his...
Yes.
That's what my cat does. Yeah. No, not a kid joke. He likes you when you're sweaty. It tastes good.
And also we'll just quickly check on Patrick to see how the injury is healing.
You see Patrick is almost like a dog with a cone around its head. It seems that perhaps the male of the species Method are very prideful, and that this has somewhat diminished his pride. But you see Cecilia has lost no interest in Patrick, and if anything, the existence of something foreign on Patrick is also like giving her cause for unease.
Out of curiosity, are there any of the crew members of the Rogues who have maybe taken an interest in either Cecilia or Patrick, like animals? I'm just wondering if I can also get one of the Rogues to help look after them while I'm not on the ship.
Well, Grick looked after them for you last night.
For sure, so I'll ask Grick again as I'm about to leave the ship and go and attempt to find Promy's lamp maker and say, hey there, Grick, I was just wondering if maybe while I'm out today you would be able to look after Cecilia and Patrick?
You see Grick looks at you and shrugs his shoulder and says, well, Feng, that's alright. And he holds up a finger, which is like blue and black from frostbite, and says, this is alright, right? This is not a big deal. I'll be fine, right? I mean, I've got like 7 more fingers. It should be fine.
What? Feng tries to deceive Grick and goes, yeah, that's totally fine, while casting Lesser Restoration. Casting Lesser Restoration on their hand.
You see, as you cast the spell, Grick is like focused in on his finger, and you see the colour changes back as blood is returned in circulation. He's like, yeah, it was fine.
But also, don't forget that I've set up fires around the ship, like contained, so that you can warm up. You know that exists here.
Make my clothes smell funny.
We have lots of people on this ship with magic who can like change smells and shit. So like, do you know what? Thank you so much for your help. I'm gonna go.
He collected all the shit.
I know.
He's worried about the fire.
That's why I gave up.
As you exit the Halligast Feng, you see Finkel arriving, leading a huge pack elk laden with ores, metals, and flux powers, as well as a mobile smelter.
Ooh.
He tips his hat to you as he leads the elk on board and says, morning, Feng.
Hey there, Finkel. How you going?
Oh, great. You know me, just constantly creating and being very lucrative and very successful.
Sure about that?
How much of that stolen?
Yeah. I think actually from that we'll go, as someone who makes something, is there a way for me to be able to find who made Primy's lamp? I know that it was made here in Frostia. Is there a way for me to be able to track down who that might be?
Feng, you see Finkel has a look and he's going to do an investigation check on your lamp. 19. He turns to you and says, oh, wow, Feng, this is quite an antique. You know how old this thing is?
No. Oh, wait, do I?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Feng just shrugs his shoulders and goes, I don't know, is it too old? Is it going to break?
No, this isn't going to break. This is one of the toughest metals here. This is has the maker's mark of the Sleet Hollows underneath it, one of the clans here.
Do you know where they might be in the city?
He's going to give you directions towards the district where the Sleet Hollows kind of live, specifically their head hall. It's only around about 20 minutes from your ship.
Yeah, beautiful. Feng will just start to make his way over there and thank Finkel for the advice.
You arrive in this space and you see that there is one larger dwelling where it's open, and a lot of these dwarves bearing the colours of silver and gold, the colours of Sleet Hollow, demarking them as kind of the tinkerers or the artisans. You walk into the hall and are immediately greeted by several Sleet Hollow dwarves. One of them looks at you and says, hey, I think I know you. You were in the pits last night, no?
Yeah, I got attacked by some of those animals that escaped.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was crazy. I can't believe that happened. How does something like that happen?
I know, my cousin's arm was torn off.
Shit, that's fucked. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is your cousin okay?
Of course, it's just an arm. He's got another one.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I was wondering if I could talk to, the head tinkerer or creator.
You see they all talk amongst themselves, and then an ancient dwarf is brought forward. His beard is looped several times around like a garden hose to stop it from trailing along the ground, and he has several people carrying him with carrying him over to you. And he looks up at you with milky, watery eyes and says, "That is it, can I help you?"
Hey there, my name's Feng. Nice to meet you. I was just looking for some advice as to a creation that I know was made here in Kefrosia. And Feng will produce Promy's lamp.
You see that the younger dwarves kind of look at it nonchalantly, but the older dwarf raises an eyebrow and says, "This was a relic of a long time ago. Long time ago. Maybe even when the beginnings of the Rhinebeards actually were here in the Osthof Isles. Is the beginning of the northmost realm, and the dwarves here, we, let's say, were not always accustomed to the cold. My grandmother was one of the few who first arrived here. The winters were cold and harsh, and then one day, this bird appeared in the sky and offered us its flame, and we were able to use it to help warm our fires, but it did not last very long. And then people came. People, he says, and points out a quivering finger at you, Feng, and your wildfire druid robes. People like you came searching for this bird."
Feng in this moment is thinking about the fact that the phoenix shared its flame with different cultures and communities and groups. And I think the thing that's playing on his head right now is his prophecy, the one who covets flame as their own. And he's now wondering if his own druid circle is the one that is coveting the flame as their own and potentially causing another cataclysm. So Feng is feeling a bit overwhelmed at this moment.
"We could not help these druids find this bird, but we understood the power of what it controlled, so we made them these lamps so that they might be able to contain the phoenix flame and help others." And you remember, Feng, that this fits in line with the wildfire spirits' ways, where they use these lanterns to establish new wildfire circles. But that is not what this dwarf said. It was to help others with the fire.
Feng's almost feeling a little bit happier and prouder of his decision to share the flame or that start the teachings of the flame to those children. I think it was last episode.
Yeah.
Feng will summon Promy and say, "You've kind of just changed my whole perspective on everything, and I've gotten a lot more information from you in one sentence than I got from my own druid circle my whole life. So, would you be able to help me?"
You see the elder's eyes are fixed on Promy, and he looks at you and says, "Why not? Of course. How can we be of assistance?"
Everyone knows that the world is starting to break again. Everyone knows that Nua is feeling the effects of an incoming cataclysm. I'm on my way to try and find the phoenix to try and stop that. If there's anything you know, if there's anything you suggest, please, now is the time.
You see the elder looks at you and strokes his beard and says, "May we have a look at this lamp? Perhaps when you find the phoenix, you can come back here and I can give you more. 10 lamps, 20 lamps, how many do you need?"
Maybe if we send lamps to all of the cities around Nua and provide the fire everywhere, maybe we can stop this. And Feng will, I guess, tell his own prophecy and now what he's thinking is and say, I'm wondering if maybe it was my druid circle that misstepped. They're coveting the flame as their own, they're not sharing it. Maybe that's my role in this. Maybe I am meant to spread the flame everywhere.
You see the elder nods and says, "If that is your role, druids, then we will pay our part. If you return to this place with this phoenix, we will give you as many lanterns as you need to spread its flame."
Thank you so much.
Denny!
Here we go, lads.
Denny, you awaken later and make your familiar route back to the town centre, where you see Ivan is starting to set up his stall again for the next night's frivolities.
Okay, Denny's going to approach Ivan and gesture for Pud to follow in tow. Come on, buddy. Very old Yeller vibes going on right now. I'm just going to walk up to Ivan and say, "Bonjour, monsieur. It is I, the winner of the cooking competition."
Ivan looks to you and says, Ah, Denny, back for more. You know you can't go in the competition twice.
No, they do not let professionals in again, I understand it.
Well, it just wouldn't be fair now, would it?
Yeah, well, I'm not here to fight, I just, mostly I'm here to grab a couple of extra rations. We got the whole thing going on with the Mantelope. And just off the top of my head, what was the deal with that knife?
Usually Ivan grins and produces this adamantium paring knife and says, "Yes, this is my most prized possession. Lifted this from a group of goblins outside Bientiorum."
Oh, tell me more.
I would prefer not to.
No, come on, a couple of chefs talking to each other. You do not think you can share with me your secrets?
Yeah, well, do you think I'd be where I was, Denny, if I did?
Yes.
No, Denny, I don't think I will share anything else with you. I've had this knife for years. They weren't using it, and I have made an empire with it.
An empire? That is pretty impressive.
Isn't it?
What good is an empire, though, if you are stuck in the one place? Surely you need to expand, go further, create more.
You see, he strokes his beard at this and says, what are you getting at?
Well, forgive me if I am wrong, but are you the only worker here?
Yes, yeah, I'm self-employed, yes.
Right, I've never heard of a one-person empire. Generally there was an emperor and someone for them to rule over. So, I propose a trade.
Go on, I'm interested.
Well, you have a historically significant goblin artifact, and, I think it is perhaps a little not woke of you to be sort of taking these things and refusing to give them back to the goblins. So I want to help you out with your PR issue potentially here, and I will trade you Pud.
The real woke agenda.
You see Ivan raises his eyebrows at Pud. The Pud who's just completely oblivious to what's going on. Well, I suppose he is kind of unique.
For what it is worth, he is made of golden apples. Even if you do not wish to employ him or have him at your service, you could fetch a pretty price.
You see he bends down and grabs Pud's fingers and then chews on it like someone trying to determine the gold content in a coin and says, "Convincing, Denny, but not convincing enough."
What if I had a handy?
A handy what?
Handy gold.
I'm going to say right now, if you give up all your gold and Pud, you can buy this paring knife.
Oh, shit.
Off of Ivan. I mean all of your gold and Pud.
And just quickly, would that allow Denny to access the pantry with all of the ingredients in there?
No.
Ah.
Yeah, no.
What do you want, Denny? Do you really want this pocket plane knife?
I do really want to pocket plane knife.
Do it.
We're not even there to... Because I'm thinking now, like, you got fucked over in Feldspar with the regulations, and we know that Miss Miranda escaped all of that shit by creating her own pocket plane to create it, but we can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Denny wants it, do it.
Okay, fine, you have a deal. You twisted my arm.
Oh, shit.
You see the snow dwarf goes...
Oh, sorry. No, never mind. Oh, no, right, because I want to keep 4 more apples.
They're not money, though.
Well, they're included in the amount of money that I've got here.
Yeah.
You see Ivan...
even grand. And an even grand, and Pud is another 100 gold. That is all my gold.
You see Ivan goes... and spits at your feet.
Oh, we're going to do a fight now, are we?
No, there's not a deal unless we both,
Oh, shit, sorry, I thought he was telling me to do a fight.
So they thought there's
I was like, okay.
It's like an agreement. It's like when you spit on your hand before you shake.
Yeah, okay.
1,000 gold and Pud.
And with the boo, nah, you take it back. You take it all back.
You lose it.
Right now.
Lose it all back.
Regular spit.
And he hands you over this shining silver white paring knife, and he grabs Pud by the arm. And as you turn away, the last things you hear from Pud are, "Where's it going? Where's it going? Ooh." And as the knife attunes to your touch, you see the demiplane from yesterday spills open and all of Ivan's pantry contents fall out onto the ground. And he gestures to Pud and says, "All right, buddy, start cleaning this up. We need this all on a carriage. Chop, chop."
Oh, well, you know, sometimes you end up... I thought I was going to be getting the food with it. That's okay, you know, I guess I've been played here.
Lysandra, you wake up last. We've already established, like, you've been falling in and out of sleep all morning, just napping, and you groggily get to your feet and make your way down the dock back to the administrative building where they said you could collect your sword.
Beautiful. Lysandra is just going to storm on in there. She's had enough of this. She's been too long without her sword, too long without comfort and security of having it on her person, and just waltzes on in there, and the first person she sees is just going to say, "All right, where is it? Where's my sword?"
You see this Rhinebeard looks at you with wide eyes and rushes to the back of the shop. You hear hushed dwarvish tones before the clerk reappears. "Yes, madam, how may I help?"
Where is it? Where is my sword?
Okay, you'll have to fill out a form identifying factors. With your headache, give me a sleight of hand to see how long it takes you to fill out this lengthy form.
10.
The 10, it is quite a while. I'm going to say it's about midday by the time you walk out with your sword. And by the time you have it, you feel voice in your head. "What happened? Where were you? Where did you go? What happened? Are you okay?"
I'm perfectly fine. Thank you for being worried. They took my sword.
"Who did? Name them."
I don't know their names. A bunch of dwarves.
And you hear a beat. And your dad says, "What kind?"
The frost dwarves?
"Oh, so you're already on your way, my daughter.
I thought that was obvious.
You've come so far."
I'm trying to get to you as quick as I can.
There's a pause, and then... "Are you? You promise, right? You promise you're coming."
Yes. I promise.
"Okay. That's fine. I just, I thought I lost you there for a moment, and that would, not have been good."
You won't lose me.
"I hope not."
I don't break my promises.
And that is where we will end our session.
Oh my gosh.
Bum, 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 da, bum, bum.
Me at your elevator every time I come up.
Yeah.
Wow, gang!
Gosh.
Who would have thought the Frost Dwarves would have had a few secrets for you? Now, we were supposed to have a selfless plug at the end of today's episode, but we kind of started with a selfless plug. Did anyone want to add anything else?
Yeah, my selfless plug today is for... How do I word this?
Noise pollution.
Soundproofing.
No, yeah, my selfless plug today is for noise pollution, soundproofing, whatever you want to name it. But we obviously record this podcast in an apartment, so on a main road. And so sometimes we have to re-record lines again and again because cars like to drive past like they're drag racing.
I was going to say, drive is a very liberal term.
I don't fucking know what is going through their minds at all hours of the day, and it's getting worse. Yeah, my selfless plug today is for
EVs. They are very quiet, very efficient, and podcast approved.
Do you mean EVs from Pokemon?
No. EVs is an Elon.
Great.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening this year to the Down Under Dungeon Pod. We have all had a blast recording and sharing our stories for you. It is the holidays, and we would like a break, as I'm sure you will all be taking a break. So we will be taking a 2-week hiatus from weekly recordings, and we will be back in the new year to wrap up season 1.
Oh, God.
And we have a lot more in store for you all, so can't wait to see you all in the new year. Best wishes from all of us here, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks.